Hey, Charles Hoffman here from Plugin Alliance. Today I'll explain audio compression in 3 levels of difficulty using the Lindell Audio MU-66 tube compressor plugin. This dual-band Vari-Mu compressor recreates the buttery smooth tones of a popular compressor from the 1950s, famously known for being used on the vocals of Beatles records. You can demo this plugin by starting a free Megaplan trial using the link below. This will give you access to all of Plugin Alliance's products for 30 days. You know when you're watching a movie and sometimes the sound gets really loud, like during an explosion, and sometimes it gets really quiet, like when someone's whispering? Well, audio compression can fix that and make all the sounds the same level. A compressor is like a magic remote control that automatically turns up or down the volume on your TV so that nothing's too loud or quiet. The MU-66 plugin is a compressor. If you record yourself singing or playing an instrument like drums or guitar, you can put this plugin on the recording to smooth out the volume automatically. For example, here's what different recordings sound like without compression and then with compression.
So don't pass me up, my dear, let's call it a tie. If you're always by my side, then there's no goodbyes. So don't pass me up, my dear, let's call it a tie. If you're always by my side, then there's no goodbyes.
As you can hear, the recordings with compression sound more controlled, consistent, and easy to listen to. Audio compression is a technique used to control the dynamic range of a recording, which is the difference between the loudest and softest parts of the audio. Compressing the audio can make the loud parts quieter, creating more balanced and polished sound. The MU-66 tube compressor plugin is designed to replicate the sonic characteristics of a classic tube compressor. It controls your audio levels and uses vacuum tubes to apply harmonic saturation, giving your audio a rich, smooth sound. You can adjust the MU-66's settings to control how gain reduction is applied. How fast should it be applied? How much should be applied? Answering these questions and then dialing in the corresponding settings will allow you to apply compression effectively and smooth out your signal naturally or unnaturally depending on your goal. Let's run through the plugin's basic controls. Input gain controls the level of the signal entering the compressor. Increasing the input gain can drive the signal harder into the compressor, resulting in more compression and added harmonic saturation from the virtual tubes. The threshold sets the level at which the compressor begins to reduce the gain. Signals above this level are compressed, while those below are unaffected. With the meter set to gain reduction mode, you can see how much compression is applied. A compressor's attack time controls how quickly it responds to signals that exceed the threshold. A fast attack time compresses transients more aggressively, useful for drums, while a slower attack time allows more of the initial transient to pass through, preserving the sound's natural punch. The MU-66 provides ultra-fast attack times. A compressor's release time controls how quickly the compressor stops reducing gain after the signal falls below the threshold. A fast release time can result in a more transparent sound, while a slower release time can create a smoother, more sustained compression effect. The MU-66 has a time constant knob that controls the compressor's attack and release times. 1 is the fastest and 4 is the slowest. 5 and 6 use 2 different auto-release algorithms that provide a fast recovery for short duration peaks and a long recovery if the program material sustains at a high level. Thanks to the plugin's fast attack settings and broad release options, you can use it to heavily compress audio while avoiding unwanted pumping effects. The compressor's knee setting determines how the compressor transitions between uncompressed and compressed states. A hard knee means the transition is immediate, often a good choice for drum hits. A soft knee gradually applies compression as the signal approaches the threshold, creating a more transparent effect. The MU-66's DC threshold controls the knee and threshold simultaneously. A low value causes the compressor to respond like a hard knee limiter, while a high value results in a softer knee and lower threshold. These aren't left and right channels like many other plugins. The top compressor affects top-end frequencies, and the bottom compressor affects low-end frequencies. You can punch each compressor in or out of the signal chain, solo each compressor, and swap between mid and side modes. This feature allows you to compress the mid and side signals separately, giving you more control over the stereo image and making it easier to shape the spatial characteristics of your mix. The link feature links the compressor settings for both channels, ensuring consistent compression is applied to your low end and top end. Output trim controls the level of the signal leaving each compressor. After compression, a channel's signal level might be reduced, so the output trim allows you to raise the level to match the input level. Master gain adjusts the final output level after both channels have been summed together, allowing you to match the plugin's input level. This lets you make informed A/B comparisons without loudness bias affecting your mixing decisions. To summarize, you can use the MU-66 to even out vocal or instrument recordings, ensuring the loud parts don't overpower the mix and the soft parts are still clearly heard. The plugin's parameters give you precise control over how the compression effect will sound. Audio compression is a dynamic range reduction technique that manages the amplitude variations within an audio signal by reducing the volume of the louder parts and, with makeup gain applied, increasing the softer parts. This process is crucial in mixing and mastering to achieve a balanced and controlled sound. The MU-66 tube compressor is a variable mu compressor, which alters the vacuum tube's bias to achieve gain reduction. Vacuum tubes control the flow of electrons between electrodes in a vacuum, naturally adding harmonic distortion, particularly even-order harmonics, which are perceived as warm and pleasing to the human ear. The MU-66 replicates this behavior through algorithms that model the non-linearities of tube circuits. When the audio signal hits the virtual tube, it gets compressed and acquires that characteristic tube warmth and saturation. This plugin uses a feedback-based compression design similar to the original units developed in the 1950s. In a feedback design, the level detection circuit measures the compressor's output and adjusts the gain reduction accordingly. This results in a smoother, more musical response than feed-forward designs where the level detection occurs before the gain reduction. The MU-66's feedback design leads to a very natural and cohesive sound. One of the interesting aspects of tube compressors like the MU-66 is how the tubes respond when you drive them. As the gain reduction increases, the harmonic content also increases in a musically pleasing way. This interaction between compression and harmonic distortion gives tube compressors their signature sound. You have a THD or total harmonic distortion screw you can use to adjust the amount of analog harmonic distortion. At 0 decibels, the plugin will exhibit the same level of harmonic distortion as the hardware. You can turn this up or down based on preference. There's also a 0 screw that you can use to adjust the circuit bias for each compressor. Altering the signal running through the sidechain circuit allows you to control how the compressors behave. For example, high-passing the sidechain signal will cause the compressors to ignore frequency content below the cutoff frequency. This crossover frequency determines where the low and high bands overlap. For example, you could isolate your kick with the low band and compress it separately from the rest of the mix. When set to off, the MU-66 operates as a broadband compressor. The parallel mix knob allows you to apply parallel compression within the plugin without the use of an aux track. Smash is a creative overload function. You can use this switch to apply a big and in-your-face compression sound to drum room mics, heavy rock vocals, and other sources that you want to squash hard. The sound might be a little too much on its own, so you can blend in some of the dry signal with the parallel mix knob. Enabling the Nouveau switch causes less compression to be applied to the low end and more compression to be applied to the high end. This can help maintain a natural sounding frequency response post-compression. You can demo the Lindell Audio MU-66 tube compressor by starting a free mega plan trial using the link below. This will give you access to all of Plugin Alliance's products for 30 days. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and subscribe to the Plugin Alliance YouTube channel for more walkthroughs like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.